2002. I'm sorry, today is November 19th, 2024. JLG will get that. He gets that joke. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner O'Grady.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. As a reminder, this is a public meeting and is being recorded. For those of you who are calling in today, please ensure that your line is muted. Before we begin our regular agenda, I'd like to acknowledge and honor the remarkable work of our first responders. Their bravery, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to keeping our community safe is truly inspiring. I also want to emphasize the importance of mental health, especially for those on the front lines. First responders face a unique challenge and often prioritize the needs of others over their own well-being. Programs like First Responders Bridge are crucial in supporting their mental health, providing essential resources and strong community. This support helps first responders return to their roles with renewed mental clarity and readiness to serve when you need them. To share more about this important work, I'm pleased to welcome Mick Yinger, Executive Director of First Responders Bridge Program, to the podium. And as Mick is coming forward, I just want to say, most of us in our lifetime will dial the services of our first responders. And even if you're not a part of the dialing experience yourself, you know someone. And I don't think that first responders are truly appreciated. I mean, we all appreciate them in the very general sense, Mick, but it's different when you have your own personal experience. It's different when you wake up at 4 in the morning to a smoke-filled room and you're trying to figure out what's happening. It's different when a loved one is being called because another loved one is at a crash site and you need to rush there immediately. It's different when crime has happened to you or to a family member or to a loved one, and you know that these first responders are there to make the difference, not only in your safety and your mental health, but for you and your loved one. And so if we could take a minute today, this week, this month, and this year at some point to just let them know, if you see them at the grocery store, if you see them at the mall, if you see them on the street, just simply say thank you. Whether you have used their services and dialed those 3 digits, just let them know we appreciate you. We appreciate your service and appreciate what you do to protect our community. Mick, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Again, it's an honor to be here today. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Mick Yinger. I retired from the Columbus Police Department. I'm now executive director of a nonprofit called First Responders Bridge, and my lifelong friend Mike Pavolino and I started the bridge after the tragic murders of Westerville police officers Tony Morelli and Eric Joring on February 10th, 2018. And the day after the funeral, Pav and I had gotten together and we were just talking about Tony and Eric and telling stories about them, and we were talking about the funeral where first responders came from all over the country. But then we started talking about all the friends we've both lost over the years, both in the line of duty and to suicide. I've lost numerous friends over the years in the line of duty. I've had 2 former partners and close friends die by suicide. I had a former academy classmate that took his life. This weekend, we lost a police officer in northern Ohio who died by suicide in his cruiser on duty. Pav and I learned that we're losing more first responders to suicide than all line of duty deaths combined. Guys, that's unacceptable. And we knew that we had to do something to get out in front of this. We wanted to do something to make a difference. So we decided to start this nonprofit First Responders Bridge. And in doing so, we knew that we had to start with a foundation of 4 things. We'd figure the program out around it. We'd figure all that out. But we had to have this foundation of 4 things. First, we knew that we had to include the spouses and significant others because they walk with us every step of the way, even when we don't let them. Second, we knew that we had to include our dispatchers and corrections officers because they often get forgotten when you think about first responders. And I'll be honest, when I was on the job, I didn't think about mental health in any capacity, but I especially didn't think about what they go through. And then third, we knew that we wanted our attendees to hear the name of Jesus at every retreat. They're going to hear from a couple of speakers. They're going to talk about what helped them get through the traumas that they were experiencing. We do let our attendees know ahead of time. If you don't feel comfortable sitting in those sessions, you certainly don't have to, but it was something that we felt called to do, and we're going to do that. And then fourth, Pav and I knew that if the bridge was just led by us, it would fail within the first year. We knew that we had to put a great team around us for the bridge to succeed, and that's exactly what we did. The bridge is made up of first responders, clinicians, and business leaders, and we could not be more proud of the team that we have around us. So what we do is we provide 3-day, confidential, expense-free retreats for active and retired first responders and their significant other who are experiencing depression, anxiety, PTS, or just feeling like the job has changed them or their marriages from what they were when they first started. We bring in the best peer speakers and clinicians in the country when it comes to first responder mental health and trauma. We've had just over 1,600 people attend our retreats from 40 different states and 82 of the 88 counties in Ohio, including just under 400 from Franklin County alone. Again, the retreats are completely free of cost. We pay for their lodging at the Marriott Northwest Hotel in Dublin. We pay for their food, and we pay for the speakers and clinicians that come from across the country. We never want finances to be the reason someone doesn't get the help that they need and deserve. After the retreat, we currently do 4 retreats per year and then a follow-up retreat where we bring past attendees together. After the retreat, we pay for 6 free counseling sessions with clinicians that have experience working with first responders. We vetted clinicians all across the state of Ohio, and we pay for 6 free counseling sessions for them. This year, we've paid for over 300 counseling sessions for our first responders and significant others. So we track performance outcome measures several ways, and one of them is a very detailed evaluation form. And of the over 1,600 people that have attended, 99.5% have rated the retreats either 4 or 5 stars out of 5. We are in the planning stages of creating a First Responders Bridge Metro Wellness Center. This will be a center similar to the one Columbus has. It'll be in Central Ohio. We'll have full-time clinicians that'll provide free counseling services to all our first responders and their significant others. We'll have a full-time chaplain that'll provide spiritual support and respond to critical incidents. We'll have support groups for things like marriage, addiction, and grief. And we'll do critical incident stress debriefings after critical incidents. We have complete buy-in for both the Columbus Metro Police and Columbus Metro Fire peer teams. They're going to have access to the center. If there's a critical incident somewhere in Central Ohio, they will have access to our clinicians, our chaplains, and our facilities to be able to debrief the incident. And you know, people ask, why do you take first responder wellness so seriously? Why is this so important? And I tell them because, you know, the better that we are mentally, the better place that we are mentally, the better interactions that we're going to be having with your citizens, with the public, and the better decision-making that they're going to have than they would be if they were out there dealing with the stresses that we deal with every day. And I can put a face to this a little bit. I was talking to a Central Ohio police chief. It's a chief of a smaller department. Half his department has come to our retreats. He told me 12 officers and their significant others. He said of those 12, they're having less mark-offs, less complaints, and less uses of force as they did prior to attending the retreat. And I'm going to close out with just a quick story. I was talking to an Ohio police chief, and we were talking about the importance of first responder wellness. And he told me a story about when he was a brand new officer. And he said he got dispatched to an apartment complex on an infant not breathing. And when he arrived, the dad handed him the baby, and he's trying to revive the baby, and he's trying to do everything he can, but the baby was blue, and he knew he probably wasn't alive. And the medics got there, and he handed the baby to the medics, and they're trying to work on the baby, and unfortunately, he didn't make it. But at the same time, his chief showed up, and he said, hey, we're backed up on runs. You need to hit the street. And his very first run was to a shopping mall where a lady left her purse in the car, and the car got broken into and purse got stolen. And he said the people that probably, first she starts yelling at him for taking so long to get there, and he starts yelling back at her. He said the people that were walking by, or the lady herself, probably thought he was just an insensitive cop. But in all actuality, 15 minutes earlier, he was holding an infant that he wasn't able to save. So we have to do a better job after critical incidents of pulling our first responders off the street, getting them with the chaplain, getting them with a peer support person, and eventually, hopefully, a First Responders Bridge Wellness Center, and just make sure that they're in a good place prior to interacting with the public again. So, guys, I know your time's valuable. Thank you so much for taking time to listen. I can answer any questions if you have any.
Sure. Commissioner Grady?
Yeah, so appreciate you guys being here today. Great work that you guys do on behalf
Thank you.
of all of our first responders. My wife and I have close relationships. I grew up with a lot of folks that are. I went to Bishop Reedy High School, so the Columbus Fire Department is kind of and the police department. It's Reedy for a long time back in the day when I was growing up, where it was a Columbus public safety feeder school.
Yeah.
We had a lot of firefighters, a lot of police folks in the police department, as well as the sheriff's office. But between that and then my wife worked in the mayor's office for a long time, and so we had a lot of close relationships with folks in the police department. Obviously, being here for the last number of years, I have good relationships in the sheriff's office. And so, have a lot of friendships and relationships in the first responder community. But I also, as Commissioner Boyce was saying, when you get that phone, one, if you have to make that phone call, but two, when you get that phone call, when somebody's got to respond, when the squad shows up at your house, when the police show up at your house, when there's a roadside incident, there's always that wonderful feeling, that somebody's showing up for you or for a loved one, and so the appreciation that the community has for the work that you guys do and the men and women of this community do on behalf of our residents is phenomenal. From the time I was a little kid, I've had that happen for me. I was an accident-prone guy. I played a lot of sports. Squads had to come for me on a regular basis. My mom hated it. The youngest of 12 kids, and I was the one of the 12 that the squad always had to seemingly come for. And then, years ago, I had to make that phone call when I was out of town, and my wife did. And the little bit of that story, and I had a bad incident, ended up having to be rushed to the hospital. We were out of town in Nashville, Tennessee. And the thing that was so great about those guys who showed up at that hotel room that night when I was that early that morning, it was, the work they were doing on me as the patient was fantastic. But the better part of that story was as they were putting IVs in me and they were, putting me on a gurney and they were taking me off to the hospital was, I was there with my wife and young family. And I was worried about them. And watching those EMTs put my kids in their car seats and put them in the car, knowing that my family was going to be okay. That was every bit that was more important to me than, them throwing IVs in my lines or my arms and putting me on the gurney and putting me in the back of the bus to take me to the hospital. I was more worried about them than I was about me. And so, the work that the men and women, do on behalf of the patients is one thing, but the work that they do on behalf of the families, you talked about the families of the firefighters and the families of the police officers. The work that you guys do on behalf of the patients or on behalf of the people that you're going, to save, whether you're a police officer or a firefighter, is one thing, but the way that you guys treat the families that you're dealing with at the same time is also not to be lost in the conversation. So there's a lot that goes into this whole conversation. And as you were talking through all of this, I just kept thinking about, when you turn on the television, 11 o'clock news at night and you see what's going on during the day, or you turn on the morning news and you see what happened late at night and the things that you guys have had to deal with throughout the course of the day. You know, you think about the families that are impacted, not just the victims, not just the police officers, and you think about the police officers' families. When something happens, you know, you think about, you know, all the people that are involved. And I immediately, you know, as you were talking, I immediately went back to, you know, my mom when I was a kid, you know, my wife, you know, when I went through the traumatic things that I've gone through, my kids, you know, the times I've gone through that stuff. So, you know, when I think about the stuff, you know, that you're doing with this organization, and, you know, I think about everybody involved, and I appreciate the work that you guys are doing, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just said, you know, I mean, there's not much to add to what Commissioner Grady just said. He really just said it all. But I venture to say he might not be here if it weren't for the first
Oh, I wouldn't
responders.
be. I wouldn't be.
Because I remember that time in your life, and it's interesting you zeroed in on your family, because in my own experience, that's what stands out to me most is the calmness of the first responders. You know, they have a sense of calmness that settles the entire scene, and they work in a very diligent fashion that settles the entire scene. They work with knowledge and decisions that settle the whole scene. And what I recall most is I had an incident years ago where I picked up my son from basketball practice. He was a child, and I knew something was wrong on my way home, and I kept thinking to myself, I wonder, can he drive the car? You know, like, because I knew it was serious, and I was like, man, I think I can make it home, but I'm not sure. And it was night, and he had to be 9 or 10, you know, and so I said to him, I said, hey, I'm gonna try to make it home, but when we get home, you gotta go in the house and call 911 ASAP. And I said, so as soon as we pull up, you gotta just go. And I'm holding my stomach at the time, and he runs in and does. I fall out on the driveway, and what I remember, like John, is the terror in his voice. When the ambulance came, he yelled, you know, over here. And I just remember the ambulance coming, and honestly, I thought that was it for me. And the guys just walked up so cool and calm, and they were just like immediately diagnosed what was happening. I mean, and they were right, you know. It was kidney stones.
Yeah.
And I mean, I heard the guy say, "That's kidney stones," and he said, "We're gonna have to take you." And I remember because I was coughing up blood too, and so I was like, man, I don't know what's going on, and so you guys are quite amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so I'm absolutely certain that everybody in this room can tell a story that is very similar to mine and John's. And so let me end with this. Don't underestimate how much you're valued. Don't underestimate how much you are needed and appreciated. And then I don't know if we are, but I hope we've got some kind of grant with you guys. Hope we're giving money
I do
because
too.
it really is the kind of thing that is hard to measure. You know, we often focus on data and information, but there's a qualitative side of this work in general that you just can't measure. And I'm really glad. I wasn't familiar with this program until they put this sheet in front of me. But it's the kind of thing we should be investing in. And it almost should be required for first responders to have a retreat available to dig in. And so if DJ Bivens, if we're not doing something with them, I hope that's something that we can talk about and engage in, because, that's our way of, it should be part of a benefits package even, it should be part of just something that we do, with not just with our sheriffs, with agencies like Mix here, so, please.
If I could just really quick, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm going to share just a really quick story, because Commissioner O'Grady and Commissioner Boyce talked about how the first responders, no matter what it is, they just show up and, like very cool, calm, and collective. My mother called me. I was at an event. She called me and said, "Joy, I swallowed a mint and it's stuck in my throat. I need you to call the ambulance." And I was like, oh my God. And mind you, I've been in nursing school. So I called my husband, because I knew he was upstairs at the top of the house. I said, "Call the ambulance right now. My mom just called me and said she has a mint stuck in her throat." And he said, "Joy, your mom just called you and told you there's a mint stuck in her throat." And I said, "Yes, call 911. And so he was like, "Joy." He was like, "Forget it." So they call 911. I get to the house, and I felt so bad, but they treated her so well. And they said, "Okay, just swallow the water." And she said, "Okay." And she's like, they said, "Did you swallow it?" She said, "Yes." So the whole time my husband looking at me like, if she could talk, she could swallow. But I said, the first responders, though, didn't treat it any different. Didn't treat it, kept her, they let her maintain her dignity. I mean, she's older, but just the way that they handled that, I will never, my husband will never let me forget it either. So thank you for all that you all do.
Yeah, I hope community partners are watching this, because, again, Curtis, you back there? Yeah, I hope we do something with them. Anyways, so,
Guys, thank you so much for your time.
yeah, thank you. All right, man, that's tough. That's always a tough one to follow. It's like, I don't want to do the rest of this agenda. All right, I think I did that. Is there approval of the minutes? Mick, thanks. I know you guys want to slip out, but please do, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure you will. Is there approval of the minutes for the November 7th, 2024 briefing session?
Move approval of the minutes?
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Thank you, the minutes have been approved.
All right, first up is the engineer.
Resolution number 87324, preliminary allocation and final encumbrance of county motor vehicle license funds for the city of Columbus in the amount of $2,200,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brad Foster, Franklin County Engineer. Commissioners, before I present the first resolution, I just wanted to remind everyone that the Engineer's Office will be hosting the annual Township Dinner this Thursday evening at 5 p.m. at Villa Milano Banquet and Conference Center. All the elected officials and staff are welcome to attend. And if you have not signed up yet, just get with me later today and I'll get you on the list, on the RSVP list. Once again, that'd be November 21st, this Thursday at 5 p.m. at Villa Milano. So thank you very much if you're interested in attending. Commissioners, the first resolution is with the City of Columbus, and they requested to use a portion of their permissive fee funds to upgrade traffic signals at a variety of intersections within the city's boundaries. The county engineer has reviewed the proposed use of these funds and determined that they meet the allowable use. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
Is there a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 87324.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 87324 has been adopted. Resolution number 87424, preliminary allocation and final encumbrance of county motor vehicle license funds for the city of Columbus in the amount of $1,100,000.
Commissioners, our next resolution is also for the City of Columbus. They requested to use the portion of their permissive fee funds to install new and upgrade existing signage and pavement markings along a variety of roadways within the city's boundaries. The county engineer has reviewed the proposed use of these funds and determined that they meet the allowable use. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 87424.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 87424 has been adopted. Resolution number 87524, resolution requesting the Ohio Department of Transportation to reduce the speed limit on Hague Avenue, County Road number 66, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this resolution seeks authorization to request the Ohio Department of Transportation to investigate the speed limit on Hague Avenue between Harrison Road and Treby Road. The engineer's office has determined that a speed limit reduction from 45 to 40 miles per hour would be appropriate. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 875-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 87524 has been adopted. Resolution number 87624, resolution authorizing a contract with Data Transfer Solutions LLC consultant to provide expert knowledge software and services to support the asset inventory program in the amount of $50,000.
Commissioners, our final resolution seeks approval to enter into a professional service contract with Data Transfer Solutions Construction Management Consultants. DTS will provide consulting services and training related to Franklin County's ViewWorks asset management system. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 876-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 87624 has been adopted.
Thank you very much.
Next is the sheriff.
Resolution number 87724, resolution authorizing a transfer of general fund appropriations for the purchase of food, equipment, and supplies.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Albert Smith, Assistant Finance Director for the Sheriff's Office. Our office is requesting additional appropriations in the amount of $754,000 to cover food, equipment, and supplies related to the James A. Carnes Correctional Facility. Due to inflationary issues, 2024 food prices have increased, which have exhausted our food budget. Also, additional unbudgeted equipment and supplies have been requested throughout 2024 for Phase 2B of the James A. Carnes facility. Any questions, I ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 877-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 87724 has been adopted.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Economic Development Planning.
Resolution number 87824, review of petition to annex 0.5 acres more or less from Blendon Township to the City of Columbus. Case number ANX-18-24.
Good morning, Commissioners, County Administration. Emmanuel Torres, Assistant Director of Economic Development and Planning. This resolution in front of you today is for an expedited Type 1 annexation petition. The territory to be annexed includes Franklin County Auditor's Office, parcel ID 110-002-735 and 110-002-734, located on Minerva Avenue. Approximately 50% of the site's perimeter is contiguous to the City of Columbus. The petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in Section 709.022 of the Ohio Revised Code. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 878-24.
Second. Sorry.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 87824 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, JFS.
Resolution number 87924, resolution approving agreements with the Community Mediation Services of Central Ohio and the Legal Aid Society of Columbus for housing stabilization and services and legal assistance in the amount of $335,000.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Carmen Barnes, Assistant Director, JFS. Community Mediation Services provides eviction prevention education workshops for tenants at high risk of eviction and those experiencing homelessness. Since its inception, 85% of the individuals served maintain their current housing and/or successfully relocate to alternative stable housing. After providing assistance, Community Mediation is able to stay connected with the participants in their program for 1 year and report that, again, at least 85% of those that they serve are remaining in stable housing. Under this agreement, Columbus Mediation Services will continue to provide tenant-landlord mediation for approximately 435 residents. The Legal Aid Society of Columbus provides a wide range of legal services to low-income families. Legal services are made available to low-income families needing housing, family law, consumer and tax immigration and naturalization, and reentry support. During the prior contact period, Legal Aid was able to provide legal services to 60 Franklin County residents, and they look to serve an estimated 90 residents over the next agreement period. Pending any questions, I ask for approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 879-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 879-24 has been adopted. Resolution number 880-24, resolution approving a subaward agreement with Momentum Excellence Incorporated for youth artistic enrichment programming in the amount of $69,999,000.
The Momentum Program is designed to teach youth the lifelong practices of self-confidence, resilience, and teamwork, with the goal of placing them on a path towards success. The course curriculum allows youth to express themselves through athletic movement and dance, and work together toward a common goal. Under this award, programming will be offered during the school day at 15 elementary schools and with other youth-serving organizations throughout the community. Momentum plans to offer programming to approximately 800 Franklin County youth ages 8 through 16 over the upcoming period. This resolution supports goal number 11 of the Rise Together Blueprint, and pending any questions, I ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 880-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 880-24 has been adopted. Resolution number 881-24, resolution approving contracts with the House of Hope for Alcoholics Incorporated and Mary Haven Incorporated for residential and non-residential treatment services in the amount of $205,000.
Through Title 20 funding, our agency supports programming and services that strengthen and improve the participants' ability to be self-supportive and independent. House of Hope and Mary Haven provide comprehensive alcohol and other drug treatment services for patients at all stages of recovery, including inpatient and outpatient care, medically assisted treatment, cognitive behavioral, and other proven therapies, as well as individual and group counseling. During the last award period, these agencies were able to serve a total of 25 residents. Under the new agreements, the providers will offer residential treatment services for 54 low-income residents of Franklin County who have an addiction to drugs or alcohol. These agreements align with the Rise Together Poverty Blueprint Goal Number 9, and pending any questions, I ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 881-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 881-24 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 882-24, resolution authorizing the Franklin County Administrator to accept receipt on behalf of Franklin County for an FY 2024 Burn Discretionary Community Project Grant Award from the Office of Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention to support the One Door Initiative in the amount of $963,000.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Melissa Pearson, Chief Operating Officer with Franklin County Office of Justice Policy and Programs. The FY 2024 Burn JAG grant will support the Franklin County One Door Initiative, which was designed by the Board of Commissioners to improve the well-being and increase economic mobility among Franklin County residents by offering a single point of entry, literally a no wrong door approach, to a network of critical stabilization services. Funding will be used to expand the Family Stabilization Unit with a focus on coordination and collaboration with the juvenile court, workforce development, and supportive services to include short-term housing options. The award period is scheduled to expire 12/31/24. However, due to the late issuance of the award, our representative from the Bureau of Justice Assistance has indicated an extension can be requested once the award is approved in the Just Grants Management System. Pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval to accept this award.
Commissioners,
DC
Joy
Bivens.
Bivens, Deputy County Administrator of Health and Human Services. I would be remiss if I did not take the time to just remind you all, these are the dollars that were earmarked from Congresswoman Beatty in I believe Sheriff Brown's office, I'm not for sure, Melissa, I believe it was another person that approved these earmarked. We're still waiting for those dollars because we asked for an extension due to the lateness of the notice. But also just to reinforce, this is us working closely with the juvenile court. When families are seen on the 5th or 6th floor, they now can come over to receive their supportive services. We will be doing a soft open in December. And then hopefully in the first quarter of 25, I'm looking at you, Melissa, first quarter of 25, we'll receive those dollars so that we can continue to better service those families, not just the juvenile, but the entire family that interfaces with the justice system.
Outstanding, and certainly we want to let our partners at the federal level know how much we appreciate their advocacy and their investment in Central Ohio. Certainly, House of Hope and Mary Haven are partners in mental health and drug addiction services, and so I don't know what our process is. I see Kevin Pengrass for letting our legislative and federal partners know how much we value and appreciate them. So the legislation is one thing, but a letter going out to them would be great. Encourage that.
Yeah. And shout out to Kevin and Director Pride for working on this with us. We appreciate you.
Yep, absolutely. Good work. Is there a motion to approve?
So if there are no further comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 882-24.
Yeah, second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 882-24 has been adopted.
Yeah, I totally had I was reading the wrong one. So, on the Byrne Discretionary Community Grant, even more importantly, Melissa's laughing at me. Even more important, the Byrne grant has been around for a very long time and has a wide level of coverage. And this too is in a growing place like Central Ohio. These grant funds become critical. So, Kevin, again, if you could let our partners know that we appreciate it on the correct grant, I would appreciate that. Thank you. And you guys are also kind, because when I was saying, you all were just shaking your head like, yeah, absolutely, we got you. All right, continue.
Resolution number 883-24, resolution authorizing the Franklin County Administrator to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Adam H. Board of Franklin County for the implementation of the Landlord Incentive Program authorized by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services in the amount of $40,000.
Commissioners, as you know all too well, stable housing is a critical social determinant of health. And for someone with a justice background, it can be extremely difficult to navigate due to a range of factors. Authorization to enter into this MOU with the Adam H. Board will support our office, the Franklin County Office of Justice Policy and Programs, launch, implementation, and administration of a landlord incentive program that was created and funded by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
If there are no comments or,
Screens just popped up.
oh, sorry, she's not done.
Real quickly, let me throw this in there. This will incentivize new and encourage existing local landlords to rent to at-risk individuals, including those with justice involvement in a mental health disorder. This agreement is through June 30th of 2025. However, it is our hope the program will prove to be so successful that additional funds will be awarded by Ohio MOS to continue the effort. This resolution does support Goal 9 of the Rise Together Blueprint for Reducing Poverty, and pending any questions, I respectfully ask for your approval.
All right, if there are no comments or questions, I will move approval of Resolution 883-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 883-24 has been adopted. Resolution number 884-24, resolution authorizing a sub-grant award agreement with the Cornerstone Promise Incorporated for the continued support of the Bridge Respite Housing Program under the FY 2022 Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $60,000.
Commissioner, similar to the last resolution, this one focuses on housing and the importance of even respite housing. This request seeks your approval of a sub-grant award to Cornerstone Promise, who is our current provider of the Bridge Respite Program, which offers respite housing and case management services for up to 5 nights immediately following release from the Franklin County Correctional Center. which research has indicated an individual is at 40 times greater risk of overdose and death. We believe that by offering this period of respite where individuals are safe, fed, and warm, we are giving individuals an opportunity to think through their transition. For the past 12 months, the Bridge program has supported 499 bed nights for 154 individuals referred to the program by the Rapid Resource Center. This resolution supports Goal 9 of the Rise Together Blueprint for Reducing Poverty. And pending any questions you might have, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 884-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 884-24 has been adopted. Resolution number 885-24, resolution authorizing the Franklin County Administrator to sign all acceptance documents and waivers related to the receipt of Franklin County's FY 2023 Title II Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act formula and planning grants from the Ohio Department of Youth Services in the amount of $210,000.
And our final resolution before you requests approval to accept an FY23 Title II Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Formula Grant in the amount of $200,000 and an administrative award in the amount of $10,000. Title II is awarded to support programs, services, and system improvement activities that reduce the likelihood of juvenile justice involvement for at-risk youth. The FY24 award amount of $200,000 reflects a 15% reduction from the 2023 award. We anticipate subrecipient awards will be brought before the Board of Commissioners in early 2025. This resolution aligns with goals 11 and 12 of the Rise Together Blueprint. And again, pending any questions, I would ask for your approval to accept both the planning grant and the formula grant.
If there are no comments or questions, I will move approval of Resolution 885-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 885-24 has been adopted.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Next is the Public Facilities Management.
Resolution number 886-24, resolution authorizing contract extension number 2 and modification number 2 with RNS Haley and Company Incorporated, doing business as Darby Creek Nursery and Landscaping, to provide snow removal services at designated Franklin County facilities in the amount of $500,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Darla
Morning.
Reardon, Director, Public Facilities Management. Public Facilities Management is responsible for the facility and property management needs of the various agencies and offices of Franklin County. Resolution number 898-22 authorized a contract with RNS Haley and Company, Inc., doing business as Darby Creek Nursery and Landscaping, to provide snow removal services at designated Franklin County facilities. This resolution authorizes a one-year contract extension from November 29th, 2024 through November 28th, 2025 with RNS Haley and Company, Inc. to provide snow removal services if needed in order to continue to support Franklin County facilities. Pending any questions, PFM respectfully requests your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 886-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 886-24 has been adopted. Resolution number 887-24, resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Schooley Caldwell to provide design professional services associated with the planning, design, selective renovation, and new construction of the Franklin County Critical Master Plan Implementation Project Bundle 1 in the amount of $1,675,000.
Request for qualifications number 2024-319 requested submissions to provide design professional services associated with the planning, design, selective renovation, and new construction for the Franklin County Critical Master Plan Implementation Project Bundle 1. 3 submissions were received. Schooley Caldwell, in its response and subsequent scope review sessions, exhibited itself as qualified to provide the scope of services outlined in the RFQ. The design professional services to be provided by Schooley Caldwell for Franklin County Critical Master Plan Project Bundle 1 include the following: 900 Hague Avenue, including the 911 Communications Center and Sheriff's Operations Center, the Department of Job and Family Services East Opportunity Center at 1055 Mount Vernon Avenue for lobby and interior renovations, Sheriff's Office Jail Records relocation, and the Family Stabilization Unit in the Michael J. Dorian Building. The construction manager at risk model is being employed on this project, and there is an established 15% SEBE aspirational goal. Schooley Caldwell is a local certified SEBE firm as well as a minority business enterprise. Pending any questions, PFM respectfully requests your approval of this resolution to execute an agreement with Schooley Caldwell for design professional services. Thank you.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 887-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 887-24 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Purchasing.
Resolution number 888-24, resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $2,113,617.03.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Megan Perry Valenier, Director of Purchasing, and joining me is Andrina Austin, Economic Equity Administrator for the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This resolution, Commissioners, request your approval of 135 purchase orders. The County Auditor has pre-certified available funding, and I'll turn it over to Andrina for the supplier diversity data.
Thank you, Megan. Good morning, Commissioners and County
Good morning.
Administration. 12 of the purchase orders being presented are being awarded to small and emerging businesses totaling $108,322.14. These awards are distributed as follows: 2% to small and emerging businesses, 6 to women-owned businesses, and 1 to minority-owned businesses. Once approved, 5 agencies will provide equitable and inclusive opportunities to small businesses this week. And these agencies are the Court of Common Pleas, Domestic Relations and Juvenile Court, Office on Aging, Public Facilities Management, and the Sheriff's Department. Year-to-date, Franklin County Board of Commissioner agencies have awarded 517 purchase orders to small and emerging businesses, totaling $22,337,812.53. And pending any of your concerns or questions, we respectfully request your approvals.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 888-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 888-24 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 890-24, resolution appointing William P. Demora to the Franklin County Parks and Recreation Board of Trustees.
Good morning, Commissioners, County Administration. Michael Ruhrman, Assistant Director of Community Appointments. This resolution seeks to appoint William P. Demora to the Franklin County Parks and Recreation Board of Trustees with a term expiring November 19th, 2027. Pending any questions, we respectfully ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 890-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 890-24 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Are there any journalizations?
Yes, we have one. Cheryl Penn, Policy Manager to Commissioner Erica C. Crowley, has been named as Commissioner's designee on the Franklin County Planning Commission, the Franklin County Emergency Management Agency, and the Franklin County Criminal Justice Planning Board, Community Corrections Board. Cheryl is replacing Autumn Glover on the Franklin County Planning Commission and replacing Dayla Murphy on the Franklin County Emergency Management Agency and the Franklin County Criminal Justice Planning Board, Community Corrections Board. A copy of this journalization will be filed with the meeting minutes from today's session and will be forwarded to all interested parties for their information and planning.
All right. Are there any members of the media that have any questions? Okay, seeing that there are none, that concludes our meeting. Have a great week, everyone.
Recording stopped.